the first actual presentation, which is from Livio Morina, who is also on the board of PeeringDB, right?
Once again, yes, that's correct.
Yeah, and he's going to be talking about a specific feature in PeeringDB, but actually you're going to be staying late in the sauna, right? Mm-hmm. So if you have anything to ask about PeeringDB, or if you want to try to contribute or donate to PeeringDB or something, talk to this guy, or you've got a friend here as well.
Alessandro there?
Yeah, can you stand up and... so talk to these two people about anything about PeeringDB. Thank you. And
thank you.
You can go on.
Good afternoon. I'm Livio. I'm a board member of PeeringDB, and in PeeringDB we are volunteers. So I'm a volunteer. I'm not paid to be here for PeeringDB. I'm here for my company. I have a company, an ISP in Italy, that is Airbim. And I will make some examples during the presentation using my personal records on PeeringDB. So you will see my logo here and there. I'm also board member of the Italian Association of the ISPs, and that association is working mainly on regulatory stuff, so not technical or interesting stuff. It is something not so, it's a bit boring. First of all, what is PeeringDB? Is there anyone that never heard PeeringDB or that has no idea about what PeeringDB is? Okay, we can start from a point that, just to say the base statement that PeeringDB is a no-profit, member-based organization, so all of you can contribute to the organization, and PeeringDB facilitates the exchange of the interconnections related information, so the networks, the data centers, and we will see also other objects. And all these objects are maintained by the community. So there is not a company that is driving the data in the database. It is all about us. Having a PeeringDB record helps people to find you. Because if you are not on PeeringDB, it could be a problem to find your network, to find your data center, to find your internet exchange, because you have to imagine that you are a local community, but also a company from a foreign country could be interested to join your country. And it is not so simple to understand what happened in one country if there are no information shared on a database that is a database not driven by a company. If you are not registered to PeeringDB, you can register. It is totally free. You don't need to register to use the records. So if you want just to access the data, it is possible without a registration. And if you have an organization that owns a network, a data center, a facility, an exchange, a carrier, or what else, you have to register to manage it. Once you register, you cannot do it using the Gmail account. You have to use a dedicated email, dedicated domain that is registered in your RIR records. So we do a basic check to avoid that someone will steal the information or will try to represent someone that he is not. The governance on PeeringDB is governed by the US law. It is based in Seattle. We are a healthy organization. We have the money collected by the sponsors, and we are spending the money with a long process when we decide to do improvement to our platform. There are some, we can skip, I don't want to be so boring. If you want more information about the government, there is a list. This is a mailing list that is needed for to vote in the elections of PeeringDB. In PeeringDB, we have over 20,000 users, but only 462 users are registered to the mailing list. This is not an updated information, but not less than 500 at the moment. And without being registered to this mailing list, you cannot cast the vote when there are elections. Elections are made for the board. For example, I'm elected in the board because of someone from this list casted the vote. And if you want to join, that is the mailing list. And I can say that there are around 10 emails a year, so it is a silent email where you can subscribe. This is the board. I am at the moment the one based in Europe. Also, Job is from Europe, but at the moment is based in the States. And we are covering the world, the globe with our presence. These are the committees, because PeeringDB is formed by volunteers that are managing the committees. The admin committee is the committee that answers to your tickets. So when you raise a question, there is the admin committee that will answer you. We try to cover 24 hours around the world to answer as soon as possible to all the requests. The operation committee is the committee that decides how to spend, how to manage the money, how to manage the regular expenses of the association. The outreach committee, where I'm a member of this committee, is a committee that helps the communities to understand better the project. And the product committee is the one that decides what is the next future to develop. It is not just a decision taken by the committee, but there is a GitHub record where all of you can cast your idea, and you can say, I'd like to get this PeeringDB from tomorrow has to be read. You can do that, you can ask, then if you get the consensus, I think that it could change and become red. This is just a stupid point, but you can write your idea and get the consensus. If you want to participate in one committee, for example, the admin committee is always open to new volunteers. The request is about 1 hour a week, more or less. So if you can dedicate 1 hour of your time every week to PeeringDB, you just have to send an email to this email. The slides will be available on the website, so you don't need to take pictures of other things. Now I go a bit faster. What is PeeringDB? PeeringDB is very interesting for the network. The main idea is for the network. So when PeeringDB was born, the idea was it needs to help to establish interconnection between networks. This was the basic idea that it is working well at the moment. And with PeeringDB, the peers are more, you can establish the peers more efficiently. But also, there are companies such as Meta, such as Fastly, that if you don't have a PeeringDB record, they will not allow you to peer with them. So you will use an indirect path to reach the networks. So if you want to optimize your network, you cannot avoid a record on PeeringDB for your network. PeeringDB record could also be used for the automation, because one of the main points is still the access to the information to the APIs, and so you can create scripts. Meta and also Fastly and other operators are using through the API the information to establish the direct connection. If you write me to establish a connection, BGP connection, it will be a manual task. So for small companies at the moment, it is not use this function, but for the bigs, and I hope that also some of you are using that, it is already a rule, normal rule. There are also exchanges and facilities on PeeringDB. Because if I need to join, if I need to establish a POP in a different region, I need to start from a point to understand where should I go to put my routers, to put my switches in that area. So with PeeringDB, if you have an exchange, if you have a facility, you can list them on PeeringDB and be found by the customers that want to join a market. For example, Google is now moving the traffic to the PNIs. Yes, but if I don't know where to go to interconnect Google with the PNI, that's the problem. Google is keeping the records updated, so it is easy. This is just an example, but it could happen also with a lot of different operators. Let's also say that if I decide to establish a POP in Nordics, if I don't have PeeringDB, what should I do? Google for Data Center Helsinki, and the answers are sponsor, yes, I can try to define. The first not sponsored is something that I don't know where they are collecting the data. I checked some data center that was not existing. So the information are not inserted and nor evaluated by the community. So it is a bit dangerous to decide Googling for data center. With PeeringDB, if I check Helsinki, I receive all the data centers available on the database. You can see also some highlighted company because they are sponsors, so they are supporting us, but all the members' facilities are reported in the same, with no priority. You can see that the sponsors are not coming before the other ones. It is just a matter of alphabetical order. Here with Helsinki, you can see that we have the exchanges, the networks, the facilities, but if you can spot campus and carriers is 0. Carriers is 0 means that no local companies, so no organization registered as Finnish, have a carrier object. And that's something that is important. So I want to let you understand why you should have a carrier object, also if you are not a carrier as a main business. But let's go ahead. This is an example. I took this data center, that is Telia Helsinki data center. I think that it exists. I don't have a reason to think something different. And in this data center, there are a lot of networks listed. Probably there are more than this, or someone could have left yesterday and it is not updated. But more or less, this is the picture, the big picture of the data center. On the bottom of the page, there is this other information that is exchanges available there, but also the carriers. I see only 2 carriers, Arelion, okay, and the GNM, that is DataIX. And reading the networks, I see, for example, RETN or also Anexia. They are carrier. Probably they are able to carry you in this data center and in a lot of other data centers. But since they are not registered as, they didn't register its own carrier object, they are not advertising something that is free, because this carrier information can only lead to them more business. It is not a problem for them. But they're not doing that. Let's say that you are a small network that is present in this data center and in an Equinix data center in Helsinki. You can just fill these 2 data centers, and if you have a dark fiber and you want to sell Lambda, you want to sell capacity from a data center to the other, you can be advertised in this file, and so you can be found by someone that wants to join the community and wants to join the market and doesn't know the market, and this is a good opportunity. So the carrier is different from the network. The network, the main idea is the layer 3. The carrier is a layer 2 or layer 1 service. So with the carrier objects, we try to define who are the carriers able to provide layer 1 and layer 2 services. This is the main difference with other records we have in PeeringDB. This is my organization. In my organization, I have my network. This is my AS number. And there is also an object that is the carrier object. When I click on my carrier object, I see where I'm able to provide services, layer 1 or layer 2 services. At the moment, we are not doing a detail about what kind of service, because at the moment, the carrier object is not so used, so we are still in a beta phase, if we want to call it in this way. But in future, we will be able to specify that I will be able to provide in Balkan Gate a layer 2, but between Mix and V6 also a dark fiber, so layer 1 and so on. And it all starts from here. This was an old slide. It was January 2023, when we advertised the new object carrier, but it is still a new object that is not so used. So we're trying to push it on the usage of this object. How to do that? We have a great blog post. So in our documentation, you can see how to start with PeeringDB and how to create your carrier object. But it is very, very Simple. So, first of all, you need an organization. If you are not registered to PeeringDB, you cannot have the carrier object. Once you register the organization, in your organization you can add a facility, add the network, add an exchange. Add an exchange doesn't mean that you add your presence in an exchange. It means that you add an internet exchange. So if you own an internet exchange, you have to use that. Otherwise, it will be refused and you will get errors. So once you create the record, it will appear like this. You can delete, you can add new facilities, and so you can advertise for free that you are providing such services in the region, in the data center you want to show. It is not mandatory that you put in this list all the facilities where you are. You just have to say, yes, I'm also in that facility, but I don't have services there, so I will not add it in my facilities where I can provide the carrier services. But it is all up to you, and I suggest you to think if it could be useful for your company to advertise that you are able to provide those kind of services in those data centers. It is also interesting from the other side. So if I'm an owner of the data center and I see that in my data center I only have 2 carriers, yes, I should knock the doors to all my customers, if I can, and ask them, but you are selling the layer 1 services here. Why don't you update the PeeringDB? So it is a win-win situation because the carrier will get the customers, but also the data center will advertise one more carrier in the facility. So it is interesting for both. This is our growth from 2022 to 2023. So we are becoming bigger and bigger every year, about 10% of every object. And this is the infrastructure of PeeringDB. I go very fast. All the users that are using PeeringDB are users. If you register an account and you create an organization, you are a member. And if you are a member and you register to the mailing list, the Gov mailing list that I showed you before, then at the moment you can be a member that can cast a vote. Some news. Yes, in January we are going to redefine the GUI of PeeringDB, so we will provide new palettes and the new search will be definitive. So if you saw that blue box that is saying that there is a new search, that you are using the new search, try to do some test with the old one and the new one. If you find some bug, please report us, because the day that we release the new one for all the people, what happened also last week? Last week we released something and no one no one spotted a bug in the release. So after a couple of days we had to release a bug fix. So we also invite you to use the beta environment that is available for 1 week when we release a new release. It is always once a month, the second week of the month. So in case you are welcome to use also this beta version. Oh yes, we are also able now to remove automatically the networks that are not instantiated anymore in the RIR. So we are doing some cleanup from the zombies. This is an important thing, and from March next year, the two-factor authentication will become mandatory. So don't arrive the last day that you will not be available to log in anymore. You have to find what is the email that will be received, the two-factor authentication token and so on. Go and check and activate as soon as possible the two-factor authentication on the PeeringDB, on your account on PeeringDB. We got some minor security report. We are reporting on our blog all the information about that. If you spot something that could be a bug, please report it to us. It is not. I'm not creating a challenge, so don't go and try to find them. But if you find something, don't ignore it, because we need someone that uses the tool and that is able to report all the bugs, so we can work on it. We have a lot of blogs, a blog post, and every 6 months we do a big report. So if you are not, if you don't have the time to read all the blog posts every week, month, you can get this digest. And there is also added this new news that also nog.fi is supporting now the PeeringDB OAuth support. So you can log in on the nog.fi account through the PeeringDB account. So it has been linked by you in last month, so it is a very brand new news. I remember that we spoke about that during EPF in Vienna. And I'm going to finish. These are the statistics from the Nordics. Let me explain how to read it. The country, yes, we have also Greenland and Faroe. They exist, so they're there. But let's focus on your line. We have in Finland, or you have, let me say we have 13 exchanges ran by 7 companies. In these exchanges, there are 221 AES numbers, and of the 221 AES numbers, 36 are AES numbers from local companies. So from companies registered as Finnish in the RIR, so RIPE, ERIN, and so on. There are also 33 data centers ran by 16 companies. In these data centers, there are 91 AES numbers, and 38 AES numbers are Finnish. The total of the exchanges plus the co-locations are 258 networks, AES numbers, and 46 are Finnish AES numbers. On PeeringDB, we have 72 registered Finnish AES numbers. So some AES number is registered, but it didn't declare that it is in a data center, or it didn't declare that it is in an internet exchange. It is just there. It could happen. But checking the RIR, we have 374 AES number assigned to Finnish companies or also private people, so AES numbers. So only the 19% of the AES numbers that are assigned to Finnish market are registered on PeeringDB. I don't know if it is, there is a technical reason behind that, but it is something that could be useful if you want to work on it to understand if someone is missing. It is an important point. As I told you, we are supported by sponsors. These are our sponsors. I see also some sponsors that is supporting your nogs, such as Dekix and NetNode, that are here. And thanks for support the nogs and also for support PeeringDB. And if you want to support PeeringDB, you can ping me and I will tell you more about this slide. And I think that I reached the end. Thank you.